Here's something that happens all the time, and absolutely nobody warns you about it. You're playing through a passage, you know it, you may have practiced it even a bit, it might still be kind of a fresh piece, and yet you keep fumbling or skipping the same note. And when you look back at the page, it's right there, you can see it, it's obvious. But what's going on? The problem isn't that you're not paying attention. The problem is that your brain is being too efficient for its own good. And there's a name for it. It's called repetition blindness. Now, repetition blindness is a real neurological phenomenon. It happens when the brain sees two identical or at least very similar stimuli close together in time and essentially treats the second one as an echo of the first, not a new command, just a repeat. Now, I discovered this as I've been teaching music for almost 30 years, and every once in a while, especially with newer students, when they're learning to read music, one of the things I would notice is that there would be two notes identical in a row. In fact, let's pull one up on the screen here. Let's take a look at a piece of music. This is from a children's book, but it doesn't matter. All I'm looking at is this measure right here. And you can see where they have circled the two notes that are identical, the two E's on the staff. Now, what I would see consistently with both adults and children is it would be quite common for them to play C, D, E. They'd play a single E, and then they would move on to the second measure. So I would have C, D, E, D, E, F, and it's like this note right here would never happen. And the first couple times I saw it, I thought, okay, whatever, it's kind of weird, but it would keep happening. And then when I really locked in on this, I was also teaching because I have taught English as a second language as well. I was in the ESL classroom and I was having a student read out loud in English. And sometimes, you know how in a passage you can have the words had together. Now, these are different words, but this makes a good example. And I was watching and listening as he was reading aloud, and I could see it in real time. It happened. He read the first had, but not the second, and went right on through it. At that point, I realized, this isn't just me. I'm not crazy. I am seeing something here. What is it? And so immediately after class, I went to the computer and I did a little research. And this is where I discovered that this is a real thing. This is called repetition blindness, and it happens when the brain is under what we would call a heavy cognitive load. Well, a heavy cognitive load absolutely can result from where maybe you're learning to decode music. You haven't become totally fluent yet. It can happen when you are dealing with a new language. The brain is having to work harder. So what the brain does is it actually compresses the two things together. It's trying to be efficient, but it's actually not helping you. It literally doesn't register the second note as a new command. So here's how to check and see if that's happening to you. Go find a spot in a piece where you keep missing or maybe fuzzing out on a note, especially a repeated note, or a note that appears back to back in a short space, something like what we have in this example here. And now ask yourself, is it the same note 2 times in a row? Am I playing both of these? Pay attention to it as you play it. You might notice you have to think especially hard, or maybe you have to circle that second note. Now, this isn't going to happen to you forever because your brain will eventually get more comfortable. We will achieve what we call a higher degree of automasticity, so the brain doesn't feel this need to compress things as much, and you'll start seeing however many repetitions in a row. But it's really interesting to note that this is not you. This is actually a neuroscience phenomenon. The way really out of this is to give the brain a reason to register the second note as something new or something different, because then the brain responds to contrast and not repetition. So that's something that works really well. If this is something that you feel like has been happening to you, I would love for you to drop that in the comments below. Repetition or repetition blindness. I would love to hear about your experience with this. But definitely stop calling yourself a slow learner and stop saying that you don't pay enough attention. Your brain is actually running a very sophisticated efficiency process. It's just that that process doesn't account for repeated music notes. So now that you know what's happening, you can work around it. This week, find one repeated spot in something you're working on and try seeing if you can mark up your score or just notice what's happening. And I think this will indeed start to get better for you.